I didn't have an issue with her being poly. Still don't, to be honest. I've dated poly people casually in the past, and honestly, we both thought this would be a fling, but we fell in love. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, "My monogamous relationship with my poly fiancée has broken down, and I'm thinking of leaving her after 3 years together and 2 months from our wedding." And a big shout out to Sarah for sending me this story. And guys, this story about a guy who ultimately is kicking his girl to the curb 2 months before their wedding after he can't take it anymore. This is a guy who foolishly got into a relationship with a gal who identifies as polyamorous. When even though we know darn well that polyamorous is not a orientation, even though these people try to make people think it is, an orientation would be if a guy's attracted to guys, a woman's attracted to women. But no, polyamory is simply a way that people can manipulate others to think that I'm this way, therefore I should get a free pass to cheat, lie, manipulate, and hook up with other people. Meanwhile, you don't. No joke. And sadly, this guy goes along with this. And I'm doing this one for lots of reasons, guys. One, again, to show how the whole polyamory thing is complete bullshit. Causes nothing but problems. If you accept this, guys, you are going to be in for a world of hurt. It does not work. It's just, again, selfish people that want to be able to have their cake and eat it too. Be with someone that they can have the emotional support with, have them pay the bills, hint, hint. And meanwhile, they can go hook up with whoever they want. It's a bad way to go and does not work. Two, what happens when a guy acts weak? When he acts so weak and lets a girl walk all over him, she loses all respect for him and she treats him worse and worse and worse and will never love him. And three, also how women will choose the nice guy to be with who they know is a pushover and weak for resources, emotional support. Meanwhile, they're going to cheat on left and right. You can't be weak, guys. If you allow anyone to mistreat you, you have to be willing to walk away. And if you don't have strength of character, strength of your mind, strength of who you are, you're never going to do that and be pushed around your entire life. And this guy obviously learns this the hard way. So lots of moments here, guys. You're going to scream in the air and slap the shit out of this guy, because believe me, I did. But he does learn eventually. So, starts off, he says, I, a 36-year-old male, am monogamous. My fiancée is polyamorous. I'm leaving her 2 months before our wedding and haven't told her yet. Well, good for you, bro, to start the story off that way, and good for you for finally learning your lesson. However, you have to go through a whole lot of shit that's common sense to the rest of us until you figure it out. I didn't have an issue with her being poly. Smack. Right then and there. You deserve what's coming. Oh, and by the way, she is the a-hole in this story. Let me make that abundantly clear. But he doesn't help himself, and you're going to see why. There's a point where someone acts so stupid, they are responsible for what they go through. A lot of people call that victim blaming or victim shaming, whatever. But there's a point the victim doesn't help themselves. And I've gotten shit about that before, but I stand by my opinion on that. He says, still to be honest, I've dated poly people casually in the past, and honestly both thought this would be a fling, but we fell in love. We couldn't be apart. We couldn't stop thinking of each other. We supported each other. We cared for each other. We moved in together, wanted a family, we want kids. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I proposed last summer. I still love her. Smack, smack, smack. I could do more smacks, but my hand will start hurting after a moment. You can't turn a HOE into a housewife, and that's what he wants to do. She put on the whole show for this guy, knowing darn well she's poly, he's monogamous, which means she gets to go hook up with other dudes, and he doesn't hook up with other girls. What a great relationship for her. And he can help pay the bills, put a ring on her finger, raise the kids. What a great deal. And in her mind, she's thinking, what a pussy. And that's what he is. That's how he's behaved. He's finally getting his man card back at the end of this story, but good Lord. This will never work, guys. Ever. We have rules. Do you mean she has rules for you? She has 4 pre-existing partners from before we met. It's an out-of-sight, out-of-mind mentality. She tells me who she's meeting, but no other details. Her idea to make it easier for me. I guarantee you, you do not know the full picture, dude. Her partners don't live near us, so it's once in a blue moon she meets them. Some of those relationships are a decade old, so I've never asked her to be monogamous or to take it away from her. I've met her poly partners. They are great guys, most of them anyway. You've met the dudes that are piping your fiancé. The woman you're going to marry, you've met the dudes. Can you imagine, guys, behind the scenes, how they're laughing their ass off at this guy? How could any woman respect a guy like this, right? I mean, would you respect a gal that you're in a relationship with, guys, when you were hooking up with other women and she was meeting and greeting with them and acting all okay about it and letting you do that and disrespect her? No. He says, as a monogamous person, it doesn't feel great, but I promise to support her, and considering we're engaged, it was working. You are out of your mind, dude, to support her. No woman that loves a guy is ever going to do that to him. And wouldn't want him, well, she doesn't want him with other women because she's controlling, and you'll see in a second here, but this is insanity. Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. I got a mug. This is Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. This is exactly what we're talking about here. He says, why I want to leave her is a few reasons. She has maintained since our first date that she doesn't like public displays of affection. No kissing, no touching, hand-holding is rare. She says it makes her really uncomfortable, so I don't do it. But when she's with her partners, it's completely different. She straddled one guy in a bar stool, rubbed her nose and his cheek, and when they stood up, she rubbed her ass against his crotch in front of me. She is punishing you for being a bitch. You are her whipped puppy. You're like her pet. Another time we were in a group picnic, and one of them showed up and she kept rubbing her hands between his legs. It's not comfortable for me, but I let it go. Smack. Of course you did. And guess what? The horrible treatment is just going to continue. She's punishing you for being a bitch. You act like a bitch, guys, then your girl is going to treat you like a bitch by being a bitch. That's what we have here. She's with me almost the entire year, but like 4 to 5 days when someone else comes to town. But firstly, she breaks our rules. She knows she's not supposed to do it in front of me. We agreed to it together. Secondly, she never does that with me, not once, and that's draining. The reason she doesn't want to do public displays of affection with this dude is because she isn't attracted to him. Okay? The guys that she really likes, she's all over. Because when a woman really is into a guy, she can't keep her hands off him. Ladies, the 4% that watch me, you know what I'm talking about. You're really hot for a guy, you can't keep your hands off him. But if you have no attraction for him, and a woman's with him for resources like this, but the other guy she can't keep her hands off of. It's not that hard to figure out. Pay attention to people's actions. Her words don't mean shit. It's her actions. It finally came to a head for me when she wanted to throw a party for us for our engagement because we never had one. One of her partners flew in to surprise her. She got drunk, and if we weren't in public, they would have ended up having you-know-what at the bar. You had an engagement party and one of her lovers came to the engagement party. He said he had girls he hooked up with in the past. I have a hard time believing that any woman would want to hook up casually with this guy. Because they would see this guy as a total bitch. Unless they were getting resources out of this. This is not a masculine man. They were running their hands underneath their clothes with me, sitting only a few feet away. Our friends kept asking me if I was okay. It was that intense. I had to step outside and she came after me after a few minutes. She started crying. I tried to hug her to tell her it's okay, and she shoved me away, went back in. She's doing that right in front of all your friends. No respect. She's punishing this guy. We didn't speak the rest of the night. Later that night, she wanted to have you-know-what, and I just wasn't in the mood. Well, there's a bazillion reasons she should have broken up with her, but the fact that she shoved him, put her hands on him, no bueno. I start thinking over the things over the years that have happened between us, especially when it comes to the sex and affection. Now listen to this part. Back to paying attention to what a girl does. He says, she is into very vanilla sex. I am not. She's the first person I've had vanilla sex with since I lost my virginity. She doesn't even want to spoon because she says she doesn't like it. You're getting the vanilla sex because you're getting the bare minimum to keep you around. That's it, because she's not attracted to you. And she doesn't want to spoon and hug you because she feels turned off by you. Now listen to this part. However, I found out that she performs anal with one of her partners and does other things that are a no-no in our bedroom. with them because she says it's a one night of the year thing and allows it even though she doesn't like it. So this guy wants to do all these kinky, freaky things with his fiancée, soon-to-be wife. She won't do it because she likes the vanilla stuff, but with her lovers, well, anything's on the table. Imagine that. She does things she knows I enjoy, but she won't do them with me. I respect her choices, so I don't do them. She's important to me. Smack! You're not important to her, man, because if she saw you as a prize and she wanted you and was fighting for you, she'd be fighting for your validation by doing anything you wanted or within reason. About a year into us living together, I found a massive toy in her things. She told me she doesn't like the SEX toys because they feel too artificial, and she doesn't want something like that in her. It turns out that the toy is reserved for one of her partners to play with her because he likes it. It's there for just one night a year when she lets go. Again, the guys that she really wants, she's willing to do anything to make them happy in the bedroom, and is all over them. Gentlemen, there is no greater example in this story about don't listen to her words, listen to her actions. And that can be applied to both men and women, but you get my point. Then I found out she went hiking with one of them, and they ended up having SEX in public. We were at a private spot at a beach once, and when I joked about it, she told absolutely not that she doesn't do that. I realized that I'm the safe option. Really, brother? Really? You're figuring this out now? You're there. You're the safety net. Your resources, nothing more. I'm just a person who she can come home to. Doesn't need to worry about what happens in public or bed. I only do the things she enjoys for her sake. Putting her on the pedestal, kissing her butt, being the doormat, being the pushover. No woman wants a guy like this. Unless they want to boss him around and control him. I don't like being the safe option. Well, that's who you are. I used to be wild before I met her. I have a very hard time believing this. And I don't understand these people who she has a decade relationship with. Why don't they know she doesn't like any of this? Why don't they know she doesn't like to do the Hershey Highway action or playing with toys or public displays of affection? Why don't they know that? Because she actually does like that for alpha males. That's why. But for a guy that acts like a weak bitch, of course she doesn't like that. I spoke to her about public displays of affection, not even SEX once, and asked her why she won't do them with me, but she straight up gropes her other partners in public. She got mad and told me I was jealous. Twisting it around, making you out to be the bad guy. Her poly friends told me the same thing, that I'm being jealous and that polyamory is about letting jealousy go. Everything I read online talks about jealousy, 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 jealousy. Her friends, of course her friends, by the way, are all into this lifestyle. What I tell you about the girl's friends, watch out for them. And of course they're defending her because that's who they are. And of course it's easier to twist things around and manipulate a weak guy, because this guy's actions have proven he's weak, to have their way. And it obviously worked. Well, at least worked, because now he's waking up. Says, of course I'm jealous. I'm hurt. I'm human and I have needs and desires too. Jealous just seems like the umbrella term for an excuse. Does that make me wrong to want to be affectionate with my partner? But I'm apparently the only one who respects her likes and wishes. Bro, if you want a gal to treat you with respect, to want you to do all these things, you have to act like a man. And you're not acting like a man. You're acting like a whipped puppy. You're like her little pet, and she likes humiliating you. Okay? This is not how you're going to attract a woman. Now, she is a self-centered, selfish piece of crap. We can all agree there. But this guy is not helping himself. The only way he can help himself is break up with her, which we know he's going to do. Completely distance himself from her friends, anybody with that lifestyle, and do some serious self-reflection and work to get his man card back. And it's all in us deep down, at least most of us. If someone flirts with me, she's immediately on it. She makes it clear that I'm taken. She will argue and fight if she needs to. She tells me all the time that if I cheat, or she'll leave me. Well, thank you. I will cheat on you then. If I sleep with anyone else, she'll leave me. She knows I won't do polyamory. I won't do polygamy. It's not my thing. And I would never cheat on her. The chances have happened, and I've shot it down immediately. I only want her. Smack. I gotta wonder, guys, that even though he acts like he doesn't like this, I have to wonder if there's some gratification down there of being bossed around, treated like crap. There are guys that like this. And it works for her, too. So, I want to end our relationship and our engagement. I love her, but maybe I need to think of myself. I don't want to leave her. What do you think? Smack. What do we think? You have to ask that question. Like I said, end it. Pack up all your shit and leave her. Have nothing to do with her. Cut off all communication with her wacko friends, anybody that's connected with her, and move on. Get some fucking therapy to help you find out why you are such a pushover. Stop watching all the freaking Hallmark Channel movies. Start acting like a man, putting yourself first, not letting people walk all over you. Stop the bullshit that you see in the movies, kissing the girl's ass, throwing your shirt down on a puddle so you can walk over so her feet don't get wet, and demanding respect, commanding respect. But you're not going to get respect if you don't respect yourself. So a man like this needs to work on himself, do everything he can to build up his life himself. It's in there somewhere he can do it. But you can't be with someone like this. And if you just make the girl like this the center of the universe, you are allowing her to hook up with other dudes. Other dudes have their you-know-whats in her mouth, and other parts of her body. And you're allowing this, knowing them? You're out of your mind. The polyamory thing is bullshit. It will only work if both people are into the lifestyle when they first meet. You can't have a dude that wants a monogamous relationship with a gal who wants to hook up with everybody left and right. But the problem is, you get a weak guy who doesn't think highly of himself. He'll take what he can get. He claims that he's had other gals he's been out with and hooked up with and all that. I find that very hard to believe. But he's choosing this. She was settling for you because she's in her 30s now. She wants to have a guy there to put a ring on her finger so she can have her wedding. Not a marriage, a wedding. And that's that. And God almighty, if this woman would actually get pregnant and have kids, and she'd raise kids in a house like this. She is terrible. Get away from her as fast as possible. That's all I can say. And he said he is. So, okay, I have hope here. So, guys, that is the lesson of this story. Goody's kicking her to the curb. Goody's realizing finally that something's wrong. Right? We could all see that in a second like that. But look at his actions. So, gentlemen, don't be that way. Don't be a pushover. Don't be a kiss ass. If you act like Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Pushover, it will bite you in the ass. Women don't respect weakness. And they will punish you big time if you do act that way. So, now a few quick comments here. I'm going to wrap this up. One guy says here, it's not working for you. You're clearly miserable. Time to end it. She got a weird double standard too. She can F others, but you can't even flirt. Come on, man. Yeah, it sucks, but what do you want to do? Do you want to be miserable for the rest of your life? Correct. The whole comment section is full of dudes really giving this guy some tough love or tearing him a new one. Another guy says, she is abusing your kindness, and you're absolutely right. You are the safe option for her. The relationship is entirely about her and zero about you. Completely one-sided. Good for you that you still have your eyes open to realize what she does. You need to leave. That's not how relationships work. Well, sadly, that's how a lot of relationships works with weak-ass guys. And when this whole open relationship polyamory crap has become more into the mainstream, a lot of gals are trying this on their weak-ass boyfriends. Another guy says here, I don't think this relationship is healthy for you. You think? You aren't free to be you. You aren't free to express yourself, and your needs aren't being met. Your fiancée has repeatedly crossed boundaries that both of you agreed to, and when she brings this up, she turns the tables and makes you seem like the problem. You aren't jealous. You just want to be treated fairly and equally in your relationship. Exactly. She's giving things to her other partners that she's refusing to you, and you have every right to feel dissatisfied with that. I think leaving is probably the best option for you. Sorry. There. That's great. Couldn't say it better myself. They were a lot nicer about it, but... And another one says here, wow, she's broken so many boundaries, I can't even get my head around it. You should absolutely leave. You're the comfy fallback meal ticket who she doesn't even have to care about and to behave properly and respect you in public. She's embarrassing you, and she is embarrassing. Nothing will change when you're married. You must know that surely. Yeah. If he thinks it's bad now, can you begin to imagine if he puts a ring on her and they become legally bound? And probably they're in a no-fault divorce state. She will, once she gets married to him and access to the resources, she's going to take him for everything he has. And then he'll be having to move out, and her boyfriends will come to his house, and she'll be giving him anal in every freaking room, and they'll be using the toys on her in every freaking room of his house, and this poor gal will be even more broken. So cut it loose. End it with her. Move on. End of story. So guys, lots of things to learn from. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let this guy know what you think. Really, let this guy know what you think. This guy needs some tough love, whether he likes it or not. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.